Welcome to the Business Finance Podcast, brought to you by the Best Finance Group, bringing you expert insights, real-life case studies, interviews, and the latest industry news. Join us every week as we cover everything you need to know about business finance.
Thanks for joining us, Sarah, and joining us on the Business Finance Podcast. It's great to have you as a guest. Can you just start by telling us how Virgate differ from a typical accountancy practice that just does compliance, for example, and what makes Virgate different to others?
So a typical accounting firm will just do the year-end accounts and tax return. That's only about 10% of what we do. So the rest of the time, we're doing the day-to-day bookkeeping, getting really stuck in and involved with businesses, with our clients. We act as the internal finance team and accounts team for our clients. So it's very much, we're answering the phones with the companies greeting. We manage their accounts inboxes. We're sending them reports on a monthly basis within 10 working days. So we're really getting stuck in. We're liaising with their suppliers, making payments. So it's not, just the year end and, pay the tax man sort of thing. It's very much getting in the trenches with our clients and making sure they've got reliable figures in order to make sensible business decisions off the back of that.
I mean, the clients that we've referred over and done business together, I think that's something for me as well that actually is really surprising. Is it correct that you have their email address as well? You have a domain from their company?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of options, but typically we'll take on board their accounts at their company's domain email address. We'll take that. We've got a really cool email system that we use that we can bring that email inbox in, and then all our team can reply from that and receive all the emails in, so we can receive invoices and statements and liaise with the suppliers with their accounts inbox. Yeah,
blimey. And really, I suppose it's that company size, isn't it, that they're growing. They might have even done it themselves as a business owner, and now they need to outsource it. Is that where you come in?
Yeah, and it's that flexibility as companies grow, because you haven't got that lumpy, hire process of, take on another accounts assistant or take on another accountant, or having those lumpy costs and the recruitment costs. We are flexible and we grow with the clients, so you haven't got those lumpy costs. And we've got a menu style service now as well. So if a client has already got a bookkeeper on site that deals with perhaps the debtor side of things, we can pick up and fill in the gap on the purchases side of things. So they can pick and choose what services we do for them, and we'll support them in filling those gaps for them.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I don't know many accountancy firms out there, and we work with a lot of them that will actually pay suppliers as well, because a lot of business owners that we work with, they may not actually make the payment themselves, but they'll have to keep authorising and things like that, and it's all time management, isn't it? It's not good use of their time, I imagine.
That's it, and we try to make things as efficient and as slick as possible. So we'll send invoices through an approval app to our clients and whoever the responsible person is within that business to sign off invoices. They'll go through a process where they then go awaiting payment. And when they're due for payment, we've got a dedicated payments team that will suggest a payment run for that week, that month, whatever cycle that client's on. And then the client can then approve or adjust that payment run. And then we upload it to a payment portal, which is really secure. So we upload that file, and then the client will then transfer that whole total amount over to the payment portal, and then all those suppliers get paid. So It's a really secure system. The client's fully in control of their funds. We do have some clients that ask us to do that final part as well. So we're kind of signatory on the bank as well. And we've got a whole secure process around that as well. But we support different clients in different ways. But the whole point is it being secure and flexible for clients as well.
Yeah, that's impressive. And I'll come on to the next question. So I suppose, what is the biggest misconception that you find with business owners in the role of the accountant when they come to you?
So it goes back to my point, really, that they think accountants are just there once a year to sort out the accounts and the tax owing and whatnot. But having an efficient accounts team there with you every single day throughout the year is critical. And a lot of business owners don't realise how critical until it's too late.
Yeah.
And we get clients saying to us, our accounts are in a mess. Or sorry, potential clients coming to us saying our accounts are in a mess. And we want to get investment, but the investors aren't investing because the accounts aren't up to date. So they want to see accurate financials to be able to make a sensible decision.
Yeah.
And so we'll take it on, we'll tidy it up, and then, they can go on and grow or whatever they want to do. So
Yeah, lovely. And touching on there, you said obviously the numbers, and we see that as ourselves as well a lot. If business owners knew the numbers and they're on top of it, then the solution to that is sometimes easier to source. So what would you say the key financial metrics are for a business owner to know and to have to hand, really?
Yeah, so I think it's different for every industry.
Yeah.
They'll all have their own KPIs, and they should know what they are. And tracking those is critical, and you can't track those unless you've got accurate, up-to-date accounts. So they need to have that in place before you can do anything. So I would say on a weekly basis, they should be tracking sales.
Okay.
In particular, certain industries that really benefit, so like retail and hospitality, for example, and looking at kind of how that compares to maybe this week last year because of seasonality maybe. Looking at your cash position on a weekly basis, that's really key. And looking at your debtors as well. So, what customers owe you what? Are they overdue? Do you need to chase them? Do you need to change payment terms or make it easier for customers to pay you? So setting up different payment types maybe. So those are the weekly things. It's all around the top line. It's making sure that money's coming in.
Yeah.
And then everything else, should kind of fall in line. And then on a monthly basis, we always recommend that everyone has a budget.
Right.
So comparing the actual performance of the business to the budget that was set, making sure you're on track to, where you want the business to go. And that involves your KPIs, so tracking that your KPIs are in line with budget, and looking at trends for the last, rolling 12 months. We include that as a page as standard in our reporting packs. We think that's really key information to have a look at. And the most important thing on a monthly basis is making sure that the balance sheet is reconciled and it accurately reflects the assets and liabilities of the business at that point. We've seen so many clients come on board with us where the balance sheet is just all over the place and there's liabilities missing or it's not up to date. And if the balance sheet isn't up to date, then the P&L is not going to be right. And if the P&L is not right, then the business decision makers have been making decisions based off of inaccurate data. So it kind of all goes round in a loop, really.
Yeah.
And then on an annual basis, then it's the EBITDA, really. And I guess you guys see this where EBITDA is the number that lenders look at, investors look at.
Yes.
If anyone ever wants to sell their business, that's the number that, it's going to be valued off a multiple of EBITDA. So that's the key one. And then kind of review that against your business plan. Are you on track? Do you need to reforecast for the next year? So those are the critical numbers.
Yeah.
Frequencies.
You raised some really good points there because you said that obviously the balance sheet feeds into the P&L, the profit and loss. But a lot of people get obsessed, don't they, with we see it with the profit and loss. But actually those figures could be out because their balance sheet isn't reconciled correctly.
That's it, yeah.
They're looking at inaccurate data. And so some of the management information that I've seen produced by Virgate with clients we've worked with over the years have been really, really accurate and, nice and visual as well. So is that everybody gets produced that monthly management information as a client at Virgate?
Yeah, most clients pay for monthly management accounts. So they'll get a report every month. And, you say it's visually good. It needs to be a useful pack. There's no point producing tables and graphs that are just not going to get looked at or used by a client. So, we've got template packs that we'll use if a client hasn't got a preferred format. But, a lot of the times a client will come to us and say, look, this is how I normally have my management accounts information every month. Can you replicate this? So we'll replicate it in our system. And, we produce a PDF every month and send that over. And we do it within 10 working days of the month end so that it's actually timely and useful for businesses to see, not sort of, weeks and weeks down the line. And then we've also got an interactive version as well, so they can go online or on an app and be able to drill down into those figures, because if something's over budget, perhaps they might want to know, okay, well, hang on a minute, I wasn't expecting that to be over budget. Why is that? And they can drill down into those numbers to see, what the costs are made up of.
That's massive, having that information within 10 days. I mean, I wish every client had that benefit. So, yeah, that's awesome. And how do you sort of typically identify when a client needs to speak to the likes of ourselves to raise finance for their business? How do you approach those conversations and spot those key triggers, I suppose, in their management information or their year-end accounts?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's two different scenarios, really. There's the ones that need the capital to grow. They've got big plans, they want to open more locations, or they've just got other growth plans and they need that capital injection.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side where the scenario might be, they're forecasting a cash flow hole. They've got VAT bills to pay at the same time as, a big supplier needs paying, and they're going to be put on stop if they don't pay the supplier, but then they're going to get in trouble with HMRC if they don't pay the VAT. So, there's those different scenarios. But both ways, we'll look at it and say, okay, well, when is the cash flow dip going to be? When do you need the cash? And what's the best way to fund this scenario?
Yeah.
And at that point, we'll then say, have a chat with Jack. And Jack will have a look at things for you and be able to talk about your options. And advise you from there. That's kind of at the point where we go to. We don't advise them on which type of loans to get or anything like that. We just then hand that over to the experts such as yourself.
No,
and then
absolutely.
hope to see the cash come in the bank when the next bank wreck happens.
Yeah, that's it. Is cash is king, isn't it? That cash flow, and more that we're seeing is a business can be highly profitable but still struggle for cash flow, and that's probably a podcast for another day. But it does happen. So it's been brilliant working with you, your clients, because I know when we need financial information, we can get it, and we can get it in a timely fashion as well, which is makes our life a whole lot easier. If we finish up then with, if you had to give SME business owners 3 sort of top tips, 3 top takeaways to improve their finances tomorrow, what would you say they would be?
I would say, number 1, get that visibility. So making sure that your accounts are being updated on a daily basis. There's no point looking at reports that have got bits missing, or the debtors aren't up to date, or the bank's not up to date. You need to have that visibility of how the business is doing on a regular basis. Secondly, automate as much as you can. I think that's really key, especially, as kind of automation and AI is kind of taken over at the moment. I think it's really, really important. In every business, there'll be repetitive things that happen. There'll be the same costs going out the bank every month. There'll be the same type of invoices coming into the business every month. Why get a human to... why pay a human to sit there and process the same things that happen on a regular basis when you could train a robot to do that at a fraction of the cost? So we're seeing a huge increase in that. We've got several bots running 24/7 for our clients, and that keeps our costs down as well. But it just means that things are ticking over, while you sleep as well. Things are being reconciled, all the time. And then the third thing is look at your cash flow, see if there's any quick wins. So it might be that you can get paid quicker from customers. You can ask for deposits up front, depending on the work you do in the industry. Or there could be things that you're paying for that you don't need to pay for now, or there's different things that you can have quick wins for in your cash flow. So people don't tend to look at it that much, but if you look at it, you might find something that actually really helps you out.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, especially on the debtors side. So waiting for those customers to get paid. Yeah. I see it all the time where people are saying, "Oh, I'm not getting paid quick enough," but have you asked for a deposit? A simple solution like that could solve the problem, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Or creditors, have you negotiated credit terms with them? Have you seen that with startups, people struggling with credit terms before?
Yeah, and there's the other side where startups then become established businesses, but then they don't go back to the suppliers to renegotiate terms to say, we've been good payers now for 2 years. Can we renegotiate our terms instead of, paying on pro forma front? Can we have like 30-day terms now,
Yeah.
So, when business owners are busy in the day-to-day, these are things that they wouldn't think of doing, So it's little things like that where we might be able to spot that quite quickly and make those little suggestions where, they say they might not think of it themselves.
Yeah. So, I think we'll leave it there for today. And that's been hopefully really, really useful for our viewers. It's been brilliant having you on as a guest, and thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thanks for having me.
And hopefully see you on the next podcast soon.
I thought that was a really, really interesting interview with Sarah there. And I was listening and just thinking, there's so many clients that we get when they're desperate for funding, and then you've got to go through the process. But they say, "Yeah, well, I'll send you my balance sheet, but it's a bit skewed. It's not quite right." Or I'll send you a profit and loss, but that's not quite right. But they need money in a hurry. So by having an accountant like Sarah and Virgate, you're going to see these cash flow gaps coming. So you're well prepared, plus all the management reports are all ready. So if it comes to getting funding, it could be the difference between a couple of days getting money into your account or 2 weeks of back and forth.
Well, that's the value, isn't it? And that's a great point that, time is money, isn't it? And how many times do we see business owners say, well, how long is the process going to take, Phil or Jack? And being 90% of our job, isn't it, is obtaining that information. And if we can get it readily available, and more importantly, the business owner knows their numbers because Virgate have done the accounts and are providing that information, they're going to be so much better informed before they come to us and during the application. And at the end result, the chances are they're going to actually obtain better or cheaper, more cost-effective, a better solution for their business, aren't they?
And it just gives us such a great first impression to a lender.
Yeah.
If you're able to provide straight away all the management accounts, you've got the story about the business, if it's business growth or if there's been a challenge. Just being able to have those accounts and just have the whole story just would make everyone's life, ours, the clients, everyone's life so much easier. So if your accountant is not giving you a service like that, I think it might be worth having a chat with Sarah at Virgate, and it was really great to have her on.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
There you are. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us on this week's episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for watching. If you need any help with business finance, please get in touch via our website, thebestgroup.co.uk.